Hello guys and welcome back to new video. Today I want to talk about something that I was struggling with in the past, right? I had a lot of losses because of it and I didn't understand my losses, why this is happening to me. It is basically something like this. Let's say that you have a downtrend, right? And then a market cycle shift, right? And a lot of traders will enter once price pulls back into this zone, right? So ICT traders will take the OTE, the breaker, right? DTFX traders will trade the 50% of this zone, right? And we also have this pattern right here. So we have this is a market structure shift or the market structure break, or we have the continuation break, which is something like this. Traders tend to take their entry from here and they're gonna target the high or maybe this high, but let's stick to this high. Most of the traders will target this high right here. In this case also they're gonna target this high, right? So the problem is that sometimes price will start trading to the upside and then fail to take this high and it will suddenly reverse on them. Same here, price will start trading to the upside and then fail to take this high and then suddenly reverse and continue to the downside, right? You might avoid this problem by taking your entry, if you are a DTFX student, from the 50% of this zone right here and you target 1-to-1, right? And price a lot of times will give you that, right? And that is absolutely fine. Same here, you're gonna target 1-to-1 if this happened on the execution time frame. So if this happened on the higher time frame, you're gonna go deeper in here, you're gonna zoom in and gonna look for a trade to the upside and you can get a better RR. But this is for me, you are avoiding the problem. Instead of trying to understand why this is happening, why price failed to take this high, you are simply avoiding by taking 1-to-1. 1-to-1 is absolutely fine, but don't avoid the problem, right? Try to understand why this is happening for you. And this is the objective of this video. So why price, when we have the break of structure, when we have the market structure shift, price fails a lot of times, fails to trade above the high. Let's remove everything. First of all, I'm going to give you the theory with a line drawing and then I'm going to walk you through some of the examples, right? So the concept of why this is happening, and this is something that I noticed in my losses when I was analyzing my losses, and then I put it into backtesting and I found that it is happening a lot. And I also found that a fellow DTFX trader, Andres, he was talking about it and he was saying that your system or your model is your worst enemy. So what does this mean? When traders start looking for their model or a trade idea, and let's say this, right? First of all, they will start analyzing what's happening on the left, on the far left, right? So the higher time frame, bigger zones on the higher time frame, right? So whether this pattern is happening from a zone or from a key area, right? A point of interest. So they're going to start looking to the left for such things. They also going to start looking down to see the build up. So before this setup, what happened on the downside, right? In case they are looking for a continuation to the upside, right? So what's happening on the downside before this setup presented itself, right? So I don't know, maybe we have something like this. We have a sweep on these lows and then price traded to the upside, right? I don't know. So maybe this was the case, the build up before this setup presented itself, right? They also gonna start looking at the upside. What do we have on the upside? Do we have zones to target, right? Do we have a target? Do we have some smooth edges? So I believe this is clearer. So once they have all three conditions met, so they are in, I don't know, a point of interest, right? They have a build-up, they have something to target, and then they will see this as a trigger, right? So this will become the break of structure, right? And once they see this break of structure, or maybe this one, their whole focus, right? Their whole focus shifts to where to enter. So now they are waiting for the pullback to happen, and what is the best level to enter from to trade to the upside. And one thing that they are missing is what happened after the break of this high. So what happened right here? Because a lot of people, as I said, once they see the break of structure, now all their focus will shift toward taking the entry rather than reading price, right? What happened once price broke this high? And then when they enter from here, again, price fails to take this high and then continue to the downside. So if we bring this pattern to here separately, right, it will look something like this. So if we start reading this drawing right here, we can see that we have, let's start from this, we have the break of structure, right? And then here we have a sweep on liquidity. All right, beautiful. And then one more time, the break of structure, right? So we have a sweep on liquidity, we have the break of structure right here. But if we try to read price after the break of structure right here, what happened? We can see that we have the same model printing on the opposite side. So we have also here the sweep on liquidity. We are inside this zone. This is the first type of this zone. This is the second type of this zone. And here, there will be a CSS confirmation, or there will be a CSS. And a CSS is something like this, if you know DTFX. So what's going to happen right here is this a pattern right here. And this pattern on the candles, on the lower time frames, it will look exactly like this, which is the shift pattern. So in this case, we have our model happening here, right? And also happening right here. So why this is happening, why price is failing to make this high and then reverses, is that this model, or I'm sorry, this zone that you want to make a new high above this one, so you don't take your trade from here, you stop loss here and make a new high, this is actually only offering the pullback into this zone right here, and it will be this, right, on the candles. Sometimes price will just melt down to the downside without offering any pullback, but let's take to the scenario where this is offering the pullback into here, right? So your model right here is offering the pullback to your own model. So your model is happening on both sides of the market, right? And when this happens, you have two choices right here. You can either take your trades from here and understand that price is likely to keep trading to the downside. This is not the time for it to trade to the upside, to reverses. So now you are only targeting this unmitigated zone, this one right here, right? The second choice is you take your trade from here. So you let this pass and you take the opposite trade from here. And I'm going to show you examples, and this is happening all the times, guys. This is happening all the times, right? And if you, I don't know, you go to your losses, I'm 100% sure that you will find this true, right? Or you can just let this pass if you don't really have a clue which one will work. Whether it will be this one that's going to make you low, or this one that's going to make you high, right? So if you don't have enough experience with reading price, you can just let this pass, right? But if you have an idea of the higher time frame, So when price breaks structure right here or here, be careful and read carefully what happened with this leg before price gave you this pullback into this zone, right? And all right, so enough with theory. Let me give you now more examples so you can understand, right? So let's start with the first example, right? And this is NQ on the 2-minute time. And this is gonna be a little bit, I don't know, unclear, right? But follow with me. This is happening on the candles themselves, right? So if you are trading another system, this will look like just a choppy price action. If you are trading DTFX, a lot going on right here. There is a lot of informations, valuable informations, feedback price is giving you, right? So follow along with me, right? So as you can see, if we look to the downside, we can see that we are shifting to the upside. We have a couple of CSS, bullish CSS. We have this fractal from here to here that we can consider a zone, but on the lower time frames, right? So this is bullish, right? Price is trading to the upside, and then we put in this low, start trading higher. One more time, sweeping this low right here. So this could be like the double top, and the double bottom scenario, right? First top, second top, liquidating this, and then continue to the upside. And also, we have the CSS happening right here, right? On this candle. So again, the CSS, guys, is on the candles, right? When price with this candle close above this candle on the lower time frames, it's gonna be something like this. So not like this, because we have this internal candle, so it's gonna be something like this, a wick from here, maybe like this, and then the break of structure happen here with this green candle above this, right? As you can see, the market structure shift, but within the candles. And you might want to enter from here and maybe target this high right here. So the high that put in this low, right? But look what happened. Price returned back into this zone, started trading higher, and then failed to make a new high above this one and continue to the downside. So, like this. So if we look closer at what happened to the upside, right? So if we zoom into this choppiness, or how some call it, right? We can see that the same pattern is happening on the upside, right? So from here we have this CSS, right? So this is a zone, unmitigated zone. First stop into it, just like this, first stop into it, and then the second top into it right here, just like this. First stop into this zone, second top into this zone, sweeping this, first stop into the CSS, and then the second top into this CSS and sweeping this high. And also the CSS confirmation happened here. So as you can see, we have the CSS right here, and then we also have the CSS right here. So this zone right here is offering pullback to this zone, to the previous unmitigated zone, right? So you are fighting with your own system. So this is on the candles, but if we go to the lower time frames, it will look something like this. It will look like something like this. We have that market structure shift that is happening on a higher time frame, zone, right? Not necessarily a higher time frame, but on a certain zone. So you have that market structure shift. In this case, this low is this one, right? This low is this, and then the high is the high of this candle, and the break of structure happened with this green candle right here. And after price traded the upside, it swept this high like this, and then we also have to see the market structure shift here. So as you can see, once price traded to the downside and you took your entry from here, right, and you want to target this high, price will stop you because this zone is only offering pullback to the previous unmitigated zone, in this case, this right here. So simple stuff, simple market structure stuff, right? And let me give you another example. So here you go, we have another example right here, right? So as you can see, if we look on the buy side, we have a sweep on this low, right? We are inside the zone. And then we have the CSS happening. So it's the CSS, and you can enter, I don't know, from here. So if you target this high, price would stop you in. As you can see, price failed to make another high. If we look to the upside, we can see that we have pretty much the same thing happening. We have the sweep on this. Price is also inside this bearish zone. So the same thing is happening on the upside. And we have also the CSS happening here with this candle, right? So as you can see, this zone, right, the one you want to enter from, is only offering pullback to the previous zone, right? So the same setup is happening on both sides, and you will find yourself that you are fighting your own system. So I don't know if you find this simple or maybe a bit advanced, but when I'm analyzing my journal, my losses, I found that this is something that's happening very frequently, right? I find myself fighting my own system, right? And it doesn't necessarily need to happen on the same time frame. So on the same time frame, this is something that you can spot it very easily. But when it is happening on different time frames, like for example, this is your execution time frame, the 1 minute, and you want to enter from here, but the opposing setup is happening on a higher time frame, or maybe you are inside a higher time frame setup, bearish setup, and you are trying to buy inside it, right? So this is something that you need to be aware of, and you can train on it. By tape reading, backtesting a lot, right? Start journaling this kind of stuff. And again, you have two choices, right? You can either let this pass and just don't be a part of it, right? Or you can simply follow the higher time frame. What is the higher time frame telling you? And the one that is consistent with the higher time frame, that's the one that is likely to work, right? So I believe that this would be the end of this video, right? If you have any kind of questions, leave them down in the comments, or DM me in my Twitter account, and I will answer you as soon as I can. And now happy trading and good luck.